Stop wasting your time. I'm going to share with you 5 things you don't want to hear, but you probably should. Because these lessons took me 14 years to learn, but once I understood them, I went from slaving away at the 9 to 5 to becoming a millionaire in sales. So stop everything you're doing and pay attention to what I'm about to tell you, because I'm going to save you years of your life. Starting with number 1, you're avoiding failure so hard, you're becoming one. Most people are so scared of failing, they never even try. You see, your brain has convinced you that avoiding failure is exactly the same as achieving success. But here's what most people don't realize. The biggest failure isn't losing, it's never playing the game. What the hell does that mean? You've become so good at protecting yourself from disappointment that you've protected yourself from opportunity. Here's the worst part. While you're sitting there calculating risks, building safety nets, other people with half your talent are out there failing fast, learning, and getting light years ahead of you. You think you're being smart by waiting for the perfect moment and the guaranteed opportunity, but perfect moments don't exist. The reality is, guaranteed opportunities are just scams sold to people way too scared to take the actual risks. I should know because I had a great position working for a big leader in the sales space, steady income, proven system, safe path forward, and everyone respected me. But I realized I was way too comfortable sitting on my own hands, being successful in someone else's business. And I was avoiding the risk of building my own. But that safety was actually the biggest risk. So I made the decision, I pulled the band-aid, I quit everything, and despite everyone thinking I was crazy, I started my own sales coaching business. Staying would have been the real failure here, never finding out if I actually had something to build on my own. So here's what I want to tell you. Stop asking what if I fail and start asking what if I don't try. Set a failure quota and aim to fail something small every single week. Remember, the person who never failed never tried anything difficult. Number 2, your good life is killing your great life. Comfort is killing your potential. Chances are, if you're watching this video, you've built yourself a nice little comfort cage, just like I did, and now it has become a comfort prison. Your decent job, your okay relationship, your pretty good routine. I mean, some days you're consistent, some days you're trying to keep up. This is all keeping you from building the life that you truly want. Good enough feels safe, but it's actually the most dangerous place you can be, because when you're miserable, you're burning to change. But when you're comfortable, you stay still, you don't make major changes. Back when I was starting out, I spent months and months building my business, nights and weekends, and waking up at 5 a.m. while keeping a relatively decent day job with some good benefits and a steady salary. It was probably 1,300 euros at the time, which is poverty money, but I was telling myself, hey, you're safe, you're secure. The 9 to 5 kept me comfortable and safe enough from going all in to build my dream life. So I was in a weird middle ground. Too comfortable to be desperate, but not too uncomfortable enough to make the leap that my potential demanded. So the steady paycheck wasn't just paying the bills, it was paying for my excuses, providing a fake safety net that held me back from actually flying. Until one day I realized that the good life was actually preventing me from building a great life as a top sales rep and a top entrepreneur. So here's my advice to you. Instead of thinking, oh, I should be grateful for what I have, think I'm grateful and I want more. It's something Ed Mylett calls blissfully dissatisfied. Just ask yourself, if you stay on this path, where will you be in 5 years? Are you going to like this picture? Be real with yourself. So take a piece of paper, list everything that you're good enough at, and this is your biggest threat. On the other side, set one uncomfortable goal for each one of these aspects that maybe scares you a little bit. Remember, the pain of discipline weighs ounces, but the pain of regret weighs tons. Number 3, you're playing small and everyone knows it. When you don't bet on yourself, nobody else will bet on you. You're walking around apologizing for taking up space. At least I used to. I used to shrink myself to make others feel comfortable and then wonder why no one takes me seriously. So here's what you need to understand. The world rewards confidence. And when you play small, people treat you small. When you act like you don't matter, people believe you. I see it in sales team all the time. You have 2 equally qualified people pursuing the same promotion, the same job, with two completely different approaches. The one person downplays their wins. They say, I got lucky, or the team were very helpful with this, which is classic humble, nice guy behavior. The other person comfortably presents the results and takes credit for their work, and they're proud, but they're not being boastful necessarily. Who do you feel is gonna get the promotion? Well, the person who shows up with confidence will get the bigger salary because they negotiate what they want and they're showing specific results for how they got there. So stop saying, oh, well, I'm not an expert at this, but just share your knowledge openly. Take credit of your wins instead of deflecting to luck or others. Ask for what you want instead of hoping someone notices and pats you on the back for it. Raise your prices, raise your standards, raise your expectations out of life. Number 4, you're waiting permission to feel worthy. Stop seeking proof that you matter. I used to tell myself all the time, once you get the promotion, once you get the wife, once you get the recognition, the achievement, then you'll be worthy. But you're making the self-worth dependent on things outside of your control. That's a dangerous place to live, because what happens is you get the thing that you feel that would make you feel worthy, and then you still end up not feeling worthy. So you just move the goalpost to the next one, to the next one, to the next thing, and it's just an endless cycle of external validation. I remember a few years up to Kelowna, Canada, in Big White. I was locked in for 5 days in a cabin along with Dan Martell, the online influencer, to put together his book. It was my first time meeting anyone that big. I never helped anyone write a best-selling book. So in my mind, most people would have spent weeks researching how to be a best-selling editor, second-guessing every suggestion, trying to self-sabotage. Well, what I told myself is, I'm not gonna wait for permission to call myself a real writer or a real editor or to get certified to feel worthy to do it. I just decided I was the person for the job. I showed up without external validation needed. Now, the book went on to become a bestseller, regardless if I helped or I didn't help, but I worked on it because I already decided that I'll show up as a winner and I'm gonna get the best out of it. In a critical moment, I threw myself on a plane, I flew up to Big White, sat down with Dan, and brainstormed with him directly. I didn't care about the outcome. What I care about is doing the best that I could in this moment. And I ended up getting a nice mention in the references of the book. So stop asking, am I good enough? And start asking, what do I want to create? Set strong standards for how you treat yourself, not just how others treat you. Celebrate your effort, not your results. And make decisions based on your values, not on what will get you approval. Number 5, you know what you need to do, but you just won't do it. Chances are you're faking being confused and unclear or stuck to avoid taking action. Stop lying to yourself. You know exactly what you need to do to change your situation. You need to have that tough conversation, start that business, end that relationship, write the freaking book, apply for the job, whatever it is that you have on your desk sitting in piles for months. Do yourself a favor and stop researching yourself to death. You're seeking more advice, reading the books, and doing anything to avoid actually taking action. As long as you can pretend you don't know what to do, you don't have to be responsible for not doing it. Confusion is a luxury that you don't have when you're trying to grow. There was a tough period in time that I had to go back to the military when I was 25 years old. So I was locked in a camp with extremely limited free time on rare 5-hour every 3 to 5 days. And back in those days, I was working with copywriting clients at the same time while learning the skill of copywriting. Now, I could have made hundreds of excuses. I'm exhausted, I didn't sleep well, I deserve a break, I can continue with mastering my skills after I got out of the army. But instead, I was trapping myself in coffee shops, forcing myself to stay until the work was done, or I told myself, you're not gonna go back if you're not done with the work and you're gonna face military jail. Most people spend years preparing to start their business, waiting for the perfect timing with the just right resources, when I was building my business one coffee session at a time, where everyone else made excuses about not having enough time. So stop asking what should I do and start asking what would I do if I already knew what to do. Write down the one thing that you've been avoiding, the one thing that makes your stomach clench when you think about it. Take the smallest possible version of action around that thing today. Start researching and start actually experimenting. Now, if you want to see the lessons that took me 34 years to realize but made me a lot of money, watch this video right here and I'll see you over there.